bit of an experiment, and you'll see here, I'll explain it to you. So basically, I needed to get into the slime lung dense swamp region. I'll show you why that's a scary idea. It has to do with germs. So these are a lot of nasty, nasty germs that will make our dupes very, very sick. So you can see I've set up the ore scrubber. I need to go ahead and this is a gas filter for the ore scrubber. I need to go and say chlorine. So that's what that needs. Sweet, that will work. So now that's going to pump all the chlorine from this tube into that ore scrubber, and as they go by it'll scrub the ore. Same here, trying to clean up our duplicates, although they tend to ignore it because they're little jerks. But the real experiment for me at least is I'm trying to pump this chlorine gas, all this yellow stuff, and just pump it all the way into here, and I want to see what happens because I'm not exactly sure if this is going to clean it up. Well, chlorine is very toxic and tends to clean up germs. I'm not really sure, so I'm just going to kind of wait and see, but it looks like it might be working. As long as I can keep that pumping, we'll be good to go. So if we go into our plumbing view, which I can't remember which button it is, you can see it's actually pumping a lot of chlorine gas just out right here. The vent is over pressurized, so that's not a problem. Basically what's going on is it's just too darn dense in here. I'm going to go ahead and put a second vent, but I need to set its priority higher, otherwise they've got other things to do that are more important. And then hopefully maybe dig some of this out, give it a little bit more room, and that should give us a chance to test the theory that chlorine will sterilize the area that it's in, not just be used as, I don't know what you'd call it, like as a chemical in processes, but actually as an atmospheric sterilization. You can see already that our poor little duplicates have just been taking some serious beating just by working in just this small section. So it's a really dangerous situation to put your duplicates there. Anything you can do to help them, which in this situation I'm really hoping that this chlorine situation will do it. Yeah, but it's not quite working. This is just breathable versus unbreathable. Let's see. It does look like the chlorine is killing off a lot of the chemicals. So who knows? Maybe it's working. I guess we'll find out. It's just going to take some time. I'd rather have chlorine in here sterilizing than over here any day of the week. The reason being is that you can tell I've been doing a little bit of exploring. I found this cold ice area, and I'm really excited about that because I can start taking and mining these plants. If I can zoom in on that, these plants can be planted in a pot, and bring down the temperature around them. So in my main house, I guess, area, you can see we've got a lot of heat here, which is to be expected with the batteries, but a lot of the plants aren't growing here because it's getting a little warm in here. So I really want to put them up here and bring down the temperature overall just by having the air go whoop and flow down. So that's the goal. I'll probably put a couple of them up here as well. If I can get enough of them, I'd be very happy. So what I'm trying to do is explore this section right here. And another thing that I'm attempting to do is just test. This is more of an experiment. Test how chlorine acts as an atmospheric sterilizer. So let me get back to you with this and see how it works out. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've never tried this before. We have a few sick duplicates from our adventures into slime lung territory, and that's to be expected. I wasn't thinking that they were going to come out perfectly fine. He has hypothermia as well, which might be what's making him so sick. That was actually from his work up here, just trying to, you can see the temperature is very low, just trying to get that done for me. And he's my little miner, Rowan, I believe. No, that's Ashkin. Ashkin, he'll get better though, he's fine. He's okay. So no current need, no current need, no current need, rest, low urgency. So he'll be okay. I did go ahead and assign this med bed right here to Rowan. He's my architect who's been responsible for building everything. That I did not notice and needs to die. So basically, once you notice that they are a little bit sick, you need to move them real quick to a med bed just so they don't get overly sick and start hurting other people. So that's just kind of how I've managed this. The chlorine, I will say though, I'm very surprised with. It's not working 100%, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that our chlorine situation isn't all the way. You can see a lot of it's still polluted oxygen, and that polluted oxygen carries a lot of the germs from the slime. The slime is, it's bad. It's really useful. You can use it to make algae, and algae becomes scarce at this point in the game where we've used all of our algae up from inside of our habitable zone, which is all of this. Now we have to start venturing forth into the non-habitable zones. So these really hot regions with chlorine and hydrogen, these really they're warm regions, but they have a lot of polluted water, which is fantastic. They also have this mineral right here, gold. I don't want to say it wrong. Whatever. They have this raw mineral, gold amalgam. Oh, I said that all wrong. I know I did. And that can be used as like a replacement for copper. Same with these other ones that I was talking about. They have iron ore. So they're each individual habitat or area has its own like plus pros and cons. The definite con of this region though, this green region, is gonna be the illnesses. So I'm trying to avoid it, but I couldn't do it anymore. Um, Now, these regions, usually the chlorine is my biggest issue because it's similar density to oxygen and it can get into your area and really mess things up. As you see right here, it has done. And that's okay though. I mean, this whole region is separate from the area, from my actual living zones. I am getting a very serious polluted oxygen issue, and that's kind of bad. So I'll have to put up some filters, which I'll show you. Just click oxygen, deodorizers, and place them kind of far apart. They work relatively well, but they do require a little bit of maintenance. But I would say that this is definitely a good thing to do, pushing your chlorine gases into this region. I'll definitely be doing that in the future because you can see that it's definitely killing off the germs. It's not doing all of the work, but it's helping a lot. So I don't know. Maybe it's worth doing. I'll keep carving away at this, and the more I can cut down on this chlorine or this slime germs, you can see it has 600,000 germs. Down here we have zero surface germs, zero surface germs. So having 600,000 is just asking for trouble. But I'm going to keep going and see what happens. I'll give you an update as far as how the chlorine sanitization works. Okay, so basically we have a bunch of little crises going on, and that's pretty typical for this time. At this point, your little guys have so much maintenance to do that it's really hard for them just to keep up with that, let alone start adding to. I probably could add another duplicate to help out. I do have enough food. I'll start to consider that in the next episode. But as for right now, I think that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that the chlorine works, but the problem was that I put it too low and it doesn't kind of like work its way down through, because chlorine is slightly more dense than oxygen, so it does require a higher ventilation system, which you can see I've done. I'm just waiting on them to finish up the job. Once that happens, I think as I mine my way up through this, I will start adding chlorine, 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 and moving it and helping it. It'll flow back down, and as it does so, it'll start decontaminating this section. We are having an issue where we do have a couple of sick people. It's not good, but I think they're getting worked out, so no problems there. Rowan, his immune system is 0, but it looks like people are taking care of him and helping him out as best they can. So having this med bay is really, really helpful. Also having some sort of containment area is an absolute must, because if I didn't have this, you can see I'm already getting some contamination, and it's pretty bad. I mean, I'm gonna have to work that out, but that's for another time. Anyways, if you're gonna do the chlorine situation, which I do recommend, I mean, why not? You're definitely gonna want to make sure you can get your pipes up higher. And hopefully hopefully you can get some oxygen in there, because I have managed to use these deodorizers to decontaminate the polluted oxygen so it's breathable. The problem is it's still contaminated with germs. So once I manage to get the germs out of it, I can actually start pumping that oxygen down into my main colony and making everybody happy. So anyways, that's going to be it for today. Try the chlorine thing. Try to use it as a sanitization instead of just dealing with it as an unuseful gas. It actually can be relatively useful, just not for energy generation or anything like that. I did manage to find over here a chlorine geyser, which is pretty awesome. So that's going to start, eventually it'll start spewing chlorine out into this region, and I can pump it out up and over into these slime regions to try and decontaminate them. But that's neither here nor there. That's going to be it. Like I said, in the next one, we'll start working on potentially getting another duplicate. We have enough food. Oxygen looks relatively good. I do need to figure out this situation down here, how to maintain flow through here. But that's something that we'll deal with later. Definitely not a pro. Someone just trying to make it interesting to watch. We did get a Wheezewort, which is cooling the air around it, which is allowing this bluff briar to grow. Not these ones yet, so I need to get a second. Anyways, if you enjoyed watching, go ahead and give me a like, and please leave a comment if you think I could do something better, or if you're interested in seeing something. If you're following along and trying to learn how to play this game, ask me questions, and that would be fantastic. Anyways, I truly and sincerely hope you guys are having a great day. That's going to be it for Oxygen Not Included.